some words that should be in your vocabulary. Please and thank you. When you're dealing with other people, expectation of them doing for you is not a good way to go. Even if it's a habit that they've begun to do something nice for you, like in your relationship, try not to take people for granted and take the things that they do as a given. Try to remember when we were young how important it was to say please when we were asking for something. And if people do things for you, as often you're not asking, people will just do things for you when they care about you. Don't take anything they do as a given. When they hand you the remote, say thank you. Obviously, don't go over the top and become obnoxious, but don't forget to say thank you. Especially don't forget to say thank you. It's really important in relationships that people feel appreciated. So remember please and thank you. Remember no. No is a good word. Just no. No without disclaimers, not explaining yourself as to why you said no. You have a right to say no. Healthy boundaries include no. You have a right to say flat out no. You can be more polite and throw in a no thank you. No, I'm busy. No, ... But you don't have to. You have a right to say no. You should master the word no and know when to say no. You don't always have to say yes. You should be able to say no and not feel guilty about it. It's important to have a healthy, balanced relationship that you're able to say no sometimes. With associates and the closest people to you. I'm sorry. It was my fault. I apologize. All of these three are important words to have in your vocabulary. To be able to admit when you make mistakes. Don't try and argue them or defend them away or turn them around and explain why the other person caused you to do something you did wrong, or another time they did something wrong. Just simply be able to say, it was my fault. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. And I apologize. The ability to apologize, you're probably going to have to go a little bit more in depth on that one, and admit your wrongs is really important in maintenance of a successful relationship, because there will be times when you make mistakes, even if you didn't mean to. There will be times when you show up late for dinner because there was a train, and it's not really your fault, but your partner is really upset. What do? Do you start an argument? Do you keep an argument going? Or do you just say, I'm sorry? It was my fault. I didn't mean to. There was a train, but I know you're upset. I'll try not to do it again. I'm sorry. Being able to say, I'm sorry, to see another person's pain, to quell an argument, to admit your wrongs, and to apologize are essential. I love you. Some people are very non-committal. They can't even say it to their grandmother. The L word. Especially they get tied up in knots and really uncomfortable when the relationships get closer and closer and closer. They become afraid of commitment, afraid of suffocation, afraid of getting swallowed up in the relationship, afraid of a million things. People don't last forever. They may leave, and that may open a big wound if you've said, I love you, and then they leave you. But they may be leaving you because you never say, I love you. Don't be non-committal. If you're all in, admit that you're all in. If you feel a certain way, tell them you feel a certain way. We never know what tomorrow holds. Again, it's important that the people that are close to us know how we feel. You can be vulnerable and let them know that. And if you have a habit of not saying it to your friends and to your family, of course there's an appropriate way to say it to your friends so they don't get the wrong idea, but letting people know how you feel about them, even up to the L word, is important. People need to know. Don't assume that they do. People need to hear you say it before you lose the opportunity to, before these people leave this planet. I don't know. If you don't know something, which a lot of us don't know a lot of things. We may know a lot of things, but there's still a lot of things that we don't know. If you don't know, admit that you don't know. It shows strength of character, strength of ego, that you're not fragile and have to know everything, have to be all wise and all strong. If there's a question asked of you, or a to-do asked of you, or anything asked of you, and you don't know how to do it, you don't know what the answer is, you don't know why you just did something, you don't know, be able to say, I don't know. Don't say yes and then fumble your way through it. Don't say no just because you're trying to avoid it. Admit that you don't know when you don't know. Even if it's, are you going to come over tonight? I don't know. If it's a maybe, it's a maybe. You don't have to commit yourself. I don't know is a very versatile tool. But you need to be able to say, I don't know. So, there's some words that are helpful to have in your vocabulary for a successful relationship. They're pretty straightforward, but a lot of people have trouble with some of them. Please and thank you. I love you. No. I don't know. I do know that it's really early. So I thank you for spending a few minutes with me. And good morning. Love you guys. Bye, YouTube.